In this video, we will learn about performing DML operations like insert, update, upsert, and delete on the Salesforce data, which is nothing but the records of standard or custom objects. These operations will be performed on either single S object or collection of S objects. If you are new to Apex and not sure about what S objects and collections are, you can check out the video in the I button link where we have explained these data types in detail. So let's get started with this video. In Apex, we can perform these DML operations in general. Create or insert, which is used to create new records. Update is used to update existing records. Upsert is used to either update or insert records. If a record is already existing, it will update, otherwise it will insert a new one. Delete is used to delete existing records. There are two ways in which we can perform these DML operations on the records. First, using DML statements. Second, using the database class methods. Let's take a look at both of these one by one. DML statements. These are Apex statements similar to other Apex statements like variable initialization or function calls. Here is the syntax of the DML statements. Operation name space variable name semicolon. Operation name could be insert, update, upsert, or delete. This is then followed by a space, which in turn is followed by the variable name. This variable is supposed to be either a single S object or a list of S objects. Let's try to understand these different DML operations with examples. Here on the screen of Developer Console, we have executed a query which will show the accounts that are created today. Currently, there are no accounts. So let's go ahead and create a new one. If you observe the code, we created a variable named ACC of S object type account. Every standard or custom object in Salesforce can be represented as an object by its API name in Apex. And the API name of the S object account is account. Then on the right hand side of the equals to operator, we have the new keyword followed by the API name of the S object, that is account, which is then followed by an opening and closing bracket. This new, then space, then account, which is followed by brackets, is a syntax of a constructor call in Apex. So using this statement, we are instructing Apex to create an object in memory of type account and return a reference of that object and assign it to the variable ACC. This way we are done with the Apex object creation. But note that we are not yet done with the DML operation. The next step is to assign values to the fields of the S object, as some of the fields are required to create records. So we have written the statement acc.name is equal to my Salesforce adventure. This statement means that we want to assign the value my Salesforce adventure to the field name of the account object. Then the last step is to add the DML statement, which is insert space ACC. By this statement, we instruct Apex to create a record of the object account in the database. Let's execute this code snippet and see the output by clicking on the refresh button to execute the query again. You will notice that one new record is now appearing in this list. Let's now try updating this account. To update the account in Apex, we first need to fetch that record from the database. For this, we will write a query. The data written by the query will be captured in the list variable LST accounts. Using the array notation, we will refer to the first element of the list and assign the website URL as a value to the field website. At last, we will write the DML statement update followed by the variable LST accounts. Let's execute this code snippet and see the output by clicking on the refresh button to execute the query again. You will notice that the record is now updated with the new website value. Now let's try the upsert operation. For this, we will use the same code snippet. Additionally, we will add a code to create a new object of account and assign values to the fields name and website. We will then add this variable to the list variable LST accounts. And finally, instead of update, we will use the upsert keyword to perform the upsertion. Once we execute this snippet, we will click on the refresh button and see that now a new record is created after the first. Since we use the keyword Upsert, the Apex first checked for the ID field values for all the objects in the list LST accounts. For the first record, it found the ID, and for the second record, it did not. So it decided to update the first record and insert the second one. For the demonstration of deletion, now we will write a query and retrieve the data in a list variable as we did in update and upsert examples. Then we will check through the if condition to make sure that the list variable that was populated by the SQL statement is not empty and has at least one record in it. Inside the if condition block, we will add the keyword delete followed by the list variable. Once we execute this snippet, we can see that all the two records that were created previously are now gone as they were successfully deleted. The next approach to perform the DML operations is to use the database class. Database is a predefined class that Salesforce has provided to us to ease our work. The database class has below methods to perform DML operations. Database.insert to create new records, database.update to update existing records, database.upsert to update existing or insert new records as we saw earlier, and database.delete to delete existing records. Since the functioning of both of these approaches are very similar, we will not show the examples of each and every type of DML operation here. However, database classes DML methods has an additional feature that will make them different from the DML statements, which is that using these we can implement partially successful database operations. Not sure about what do I mean by partially successful? Let me explain with an example. Here we will first create a list type of variable for account. Then we will add account objects to that list. You will notice that we have used the shorthand notation here. We have used the accounts constructor itself to initialize the field values. This notation is useful whenever we have only a few fields to assign. Also, this constructor call is written inside the method called add for the LST accounts. This again is another shorthand notation. What this means is we are asking to create an object of account with the specified field values, and the reference of that object will be added to the variable LST accounts. While adding the last element to the list variable, we will not assign any value to the name field. This is intentional to create a database error. At the end, we will use the DML insert statement and try executing the snippet. See, the execution did not complete and threw this exception. This is because of the last record, as you can see in the error message that the insert has failed because of the exception that was thrown on row 2. 2 here is the index of the list variable, which means the third object in the list, as the index of lists in Apex starts with 0 instead of 1. Also, it is showing what is the error. It says the required field missing, which is name, as we did not specify the required name field in the third object that we added to this list. If we try executing our query, we can notice that no record was inserted into the database. Now, ideally, since the first two records that did not have any of such exceptions should have gotten inserted into the database successfully. This is called as partial success, which means that even if some of the records in the lists are failed, the rest of the records should get inserted. Now, if we want to implement the partial success insertion, we can use the database.insert method here. Database.insert method, including the other database methods which are update, upsert and delete, support two parameters. First parameter should be either a single S object or a list of S objects. And the second parameter, which is optional, is all or none, which could be either true or false. In case of database.upsert, the all or none is the third parameter, as the second parameter is external ID field. If we pass true to the parameter all or none, which is the default one, this method will behave same as the DML statements. However, if we specify false, it will perform the partial insertion. Let's try this out in the Execute Anonymous Apex window. See, this time it did not show any error and the code snippet got executed successfully. However, if we run our query, it will show that the first 2 records were inserted successfully.
If you like this video, please do like and share. If you want to receive more of such informative content, please hit the subscribe button. If you want us to make content related to any Salesforce or Salesforce related topic, please do let us know through comments.